Hey guys, Stefan Fischer here from Alloffroad. I'm here at the beautiful Nunes campground on a family camping trip. We're here with 6-7 other parties. All have kids. All the kids are somewhere in the river playing and are wet. And I thought I'm going to share with you my experience with the Thuraya Satellite Phone, which I have now for a bit shy of a year, 9 months. I used to have an Inmarsat satellite phone first, and that was actually pretty good as long as you could buy vouchers which lasted 360 days. That changed then and it became fairly expensive and cumbersome with the vouchers. Then I purchased a used Iridium phone and I thought I may gonna put in a Telstra card. I never ended doing the Telstra card because it's kind of a loophole. You're not really supposed to do that. And I didn't want to get another postpaid plan for that phone and test it. So I used the Iridium on the canning trip with a voucher. However, I figured out that's actually not as easy as it was with the Inmarsat, where I could just purchase a voucher. Whenever I need, I type that number in and that would activate the voucher. With the Iridium phone, that needed to be done before the trip pretty much, because you needed internet and you needed a web browser pretty much to do that. And that's how I got on to the guys from Satphone Sales, because I looked around for the cheapest voucher for the Inmarsat phone and Satphone Sales had the cheapest voucher. They helped me with how that's all done, because again, I assumed it's the same way how it worked with Inmarsat, which was not the case. And I got chatting with Gudrun from Satphone Sales. And I've talked about my YouTube channel and so on. And they asked me why I don't use a Thuraya phone, which would be a better solution for my needs, because I could have a fairly cheap prepaid plan. On the Inmarsat and Iridium, they started at $45 or so, I think, a month. And the Thuraya, I could start with a $15 plan. So I suggested for Satphone Sales to give me one of the Thuraya phones to test for a year and see how I go with it. So obviously COVID came in between, so I didn't test it so far as much as I wanted. But I used it on the Simpson Desert trip, I used it on Fraser, I used it on Outback New South Wales and Queensland trip. And now here in Nunes, just here at Nunes campground, and see whether I can get a reception with the Thuraya phone. And actually I already have reception. That went pretty quick. And that is surrounded here by cliffs. And I thought I'd tell you what I think of it so far. For the phone itself, what I like is that it has a pull-out antenna. Unlike the Iridium and Inmarsat, where you have these bulky antenna, the Thuraya phone, you can just pull it out. Look, usability and functionality, I think they are all the same, and they are certainly not up to date. There are no modern phones. Texting and so on is a bit of a pain because it uses the old style system, you know. Number 2 for A, then you wait a second. For B, you press 2 twice and so on. So yeah, not that convenient. However, the big advantages of the Thuraya I see is that first of all, it has a stationary satellite. So it doesn't have circulating satellites. That means you will need clear view of that satellite. But so far I haven't had an issue really with getting that, even here in the Nunes Valley, in between that cliff faces. But it means that if you keep your phone stationary, and that's why I have these hands-free set here, so I adjust the phone correctly to the satellite, and then I pretty much do the call with a hands-free set. And as long as you don't move the phone, you have a pretty good reception, which with the Inmarsat and the Iridium wasn't always the case because the satellites move. The much bigger selling point for me though is that with a $15 contract per month, I receive an Australian mobile phone number. So that means anyone in Australia can call that mobile phone number and only pays their mobile phone rate, which in the most cases is free. So my wife, for example, is on an unlimited plan, as I am. So she can call me pretty much for free, and we can talk as long as we want, which was great when I was in the Simpson Desert with my daughter.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We've been playing in the river, making fires down there. Kane and them climbed a mountain yesterday.
Because she could, just have a chat with her mother in the evening or the morning whenever it suited, and we didn't have to watch the time. Outbound calls are still expensive, but not as expensive as Inmarsat and Iridium. And having now a plan means I'm not really limited to, say, the $50, $100 or $200 voucher I had with Iridium and Inmarsat. So if I really need the phone, say for medical advice or for mechanical advice, I just pay the bill for it, or I get them just to call me back. And yeah, that is great. So I'm happy now to give the mobile phone number out and for people to call me back, because I know they are not charged. I remember with the Discovery 3, when I had an issue in the high country and my link arm ball snapped, Greg from Get It Automotive called me back on the satellite phone, and yeah, we ended up with a $250 or so bill at the end, because he gave me mechanical advice over the phone. So that really doesn't happen here. So yeah, so far Thuraya, I really love it. I also have actually an antenna on the roof, which I show you, and the cable in my glove box. So I had the most of the time when driving, I actually do have reception with a satellite phone. So I'm here in Hawker and on the Flinders Ranges, and I have the Thuraya now on the windscreen for probably 60-70 kilometers. No outside antenna, but given I drive north, I pretty much have permanent reception. So that's pretty good so far, can't complain. Yeah, I really like it. The cons, I reckon, you can't really adjust the volume, or you can, but even with the headset, it's not super loud. So I wish that would be a little bit louder. I had once the phone freeze on me, but yeah, I just needed to restart it. And yeah, as I said, usability, it's pretty much the same as the Inmarsat and the Iridium in that same price category. The phone itself, though, is a fair bit cheaper than an Inmarsat or the Iridium. I can't remember exactly what the price was, but I will post that here in the video. It definitely was cheaper than a new Inmarsat and a new Iridium phone, that's for sure. One nice feature of the Thuraya phone is that you can easily send your geolocation to 4 people via message. This could be quite handy, especially if you're in remote areas, to send your location, say, once an hour to some predefined contacts. Yeah, Satphone Sales I can only really recommend, because first of all, they seem to have always the cheapest prices for the phones, for the cards, so that is one good thing. But I also found them very helpful, and that was before really I tested the Thuraya. They answered tons of questions for me and really helped me out with the Iridium registration and how to get that done. My fault, because I didn't do the research beforehand, so I can only recommend them. I will further obviously test the phone and see how it goes in different environments, but so far worked brilliantly for me. Keep in mind, with any satellite phone, and I had that with the Iridium and with the Inmarsat, if you're, for example, in the high country and you're in a deep valley, you will not get reception. You need to get to a bit higher ground. But again, in my book, the same for any of the phones. The Inmarsat, yeah, you need clear sight to that satellite. But as I said, even here, the valley is a little bit wider, but you know, I'm surrounded by cliff faces. I have no problem calling home. So far, I really like it. Value for money, best option around. The Australian mobile phone number, brilliant in my book, and now I really use it far more often. Before, I used the phone only for emergencies, which was hardly ever really. But now I really use it to communicate and keep in contact with the family if I'm alone away. So that means I can speak to the kids every evening. And yeah, I think that's brilliant, and alone that it's worth it for me. So far I really haven't found any area where I don't have a reception, but the best spot is really if you keep the phone stationary and then just use the headset. Unfortunately, you cannot use any headset, so I tried my iPhone headset. That doesn't work. It has a little bit different plug here, so that's a bit of a drawback. It comes with this waterproof box, which is small and pretty handy. It comes with a 12-volt charger, very important obviously for the car. Yeah, I reckon pretty good. And certainly compare your prices, do your research, but I found Satphone Sales really always be the most competitive there. And yeah, good friendly advice. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I hope I helped you out if you are in the market for a satellite phone, because the borders seem to open again. I'm looking forward to a desert trip soon, and yeah, I may see you along the tracks. For full disclosure, I received the satellite phone free of charge for testing purposes. However, I pay for all associated costs, including the costs for the plans and calls.